Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an absolutely amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And I'm excited about our show today. We're going to be talking with an amazing guest that I know you'll love. He's a #1 international best-selling author, and he has done so much in the area of horsemanship. So I'm very excited to share him with you. And we're going to be focusing on how to bask in the momentum and maintain the momentum. I love this because sometimes we're good at celebrating the moment, standing in it, owning it, and we get distracted. We don't keep it going. So there's this balance to celebrating and creating the momentum and sharing something out and then really owning it, standing in it, and then continuing that momentum. So this is something Jason's going to be sharing with us today. Very excited for our conversation. And I want you to be able to get the most out of our time together today. I'm going to invite you to choose to stay present in this moment, honoring and recognizing that this time is for you. You've carved it out. Choose to be fully present. Choose to be open, ready to receive all that can serve, support, and empower you. Avoid distractions, those things that can pull at us, multitasking. Choose to be really present. In fact, I'm going to invite you to take a deep breath in through the nose, all the way to the toes, and then out through your mouth like through a straw. And keep breathing. As you're breathing in mindfully and purposely, imagine all of this support as you breathe in. All this oxygen coming to every cell in the body, bringing in information and insight and all those things that are supportive and uplifting to you. As you breathe out, picture releasing all that no longer serves, thinking it and then releasing it, no longer has space within you. As you do this, not only does it help you become present, slow down to where you actually can hear and feel. Hear yourself think, feel what you're feeling, be open. It lowers your stress levels, it helps you become present, and it creates room and space for more. Because this is your moment. This is your time. I invite you to close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. Put both hands on your heart. Eyes closed, continuing to breathe, and notice your heartbeat. And then notice that pause in between each beat. What is it saying to you? What is it that your heart would love for you to know today? What will encourage you? Inspire you? What is it you need today? Real time that you are willing to receive. What is your heart sharing with you? What will empower you and support you to bask in the momentum, bask in the moment, create the momentum, and then maintain? What do you need? Beautiful. Notice I'm asking what, not how. You're identifying what you need so you can be actively on the lookout for it. Those things that will support us, open to it. Those things that can help you, insights, perspectives, tools to help you move forward. Beautiful. Let's receive that information. Take another deep breath. Open your eyes, fully present. Beautiful. And as you come back into the room, I invite you to write down what was laid on your heart. What message did you receive? What is it that will encourage, empower, and support you? What is it you need? Let's keep that top of mind as we go through our time and our conversation together. And I'd love to bring Jason onto the show here. And Jason, I'd love to know, when you took a moment to stop, pause, and listen, what was laid on your heart?
What was on my heart and what I'm present to is just feeling gratitude for you and your system, your ability to navigate people into a space that allows them to be 100% present. That's lost art in today, and I really appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, Jason. I appreciate that.
That's what's top of heart for me.
That's beautiful. I appreciate that. And I know for myself, not only is that process something that I find supports listeners and guests, it supports me too. It helps me become really present and connect in with each and every one of you. So I'm so glad that it's something that is supportive of you as well, Jason. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And listeners, what was laid on your heart? How does what Jason has shared or I shared tie into that? How is that supporting you? As we go into our first commercial break, I want you to notice these are 2 minutes we've carved out just for you. We have them built in throughout the show. And these moments, disguised as commercial breaks, are filled with information, insights, and updates we feel are supportive of you. And it's an opportunity to digest what is speaking to your heart and spirit. It's an opportunity to be present, to receive, to listen, to write down those things that are speaking to you. Enjoy these 2 minutes, and we will continue our conversation in just a moment.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, an opportunity to be present and breathe and just allow yourself that opportunity to receive and be poured into. I'm excited to more formally introduce Jason to you. You got to meet him in the opening segment. So it's my honor and privilege to introduce Jason M. Palmer to you. He is a #1 international best-selling author, master horse trainer, and owner of J. Palmer Performance Horses in Southern Utah. He's an inspiring speaker, and over the past 4 decades, he's become a powerful horse trainer, acclaimed in multiple arenas of horsemanship, including quarter horse racing, barrel racing, and reining. And he is passionate about helping you reach those goals that matter to you and make it to the finish line. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful and dynamic Jason M. Palmer. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much, Rebecca, for that kind words and welcome on your show. I'm excited as all get out to be here. I appreciate you and all that you bring to the table, and thank you so much.
You. And I'm just excited to have you joining us and sharing your wisdom and insights in these areas. So it's wonderful to have you. We had you on prior to your book coming out, and so it's really neat to be able to have you back on sharing from this perspective of sharing some of your wisdom and insight out in the world and having it so powerfully received. So as we start our conversation, I wanted to see why. Why is working with horses something that you are passionate about and have dedicated so much of your life and time and expertise to?
So the biggest reason I engage with horses is I connected with them as a young kid, about 8-10 years old, and I found that horses in my life were going to be a forever staple because they never judged me. Mm-hmm. And I fell in love with being able to connect with their hearts because they were just pure. They were innocent. They were face value, whatever. Like, they never, ever judged me as a human being. And I learned that when you can connect with horses like I have the ability to do, it can create so much magic in so many different areas of your life.
Thank you for sharing. And for those listeners who don't know your story and are just kind of meeting you, do you mind sharing a little bit about that judgment piece and some of what you experienced as a young age that made that not being judged so key and so important to you?
Yeah, I'll go back to, briefly share with you a little bit. I got into a life-threatening accident at age 10. Mm-hmm. I was struck with a chainsaw in the face, and it came a 16th from my jugular, from my eye clear down to my jugular vein, and went all the way through, hit my teeth, bounced off my collarbone, and left me obviously a little disfigured than normal. And after the operation and integrating myself back into society, I looked different because obviously that chainsaw tore the left side of my face up. From that point on, I really was the bullseye target for being bullied, which made me also being ostracized, which also left me leading a reclusive lifestyle that I really just didn't know I needed to do, but didn't know how to deal with anything any other way. Mm-hmm. So I fell in love with the horses because them horses never judged me. And it was absolutely magical to be in that space rather than the human experience at that point in my life.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And wanted our listeners to just know a little bit of that background and how significant and transformational that connections with horses became for you because of what you have gone through and experienced. And now you went on this journey and working with horses in so many different ways and learned so much about life on your journey. And that led you to create a book, The Finish Line. And I'd love for you to share why you decided now was the time to write that book and to release it, and what you're hoping that it does in the world.
That is a wonderful question, and I'm going to dig into that as sharply as I can and see if I can help everybody understand. The biggest reason I created this book is because it's been top of heart for a long time to create something that could impact the entire globe. I know that's a massive undertaking. However, with creating a book, you're allowed to get that message all across the world because it's in print. It's available to anybody who's willing to purchase it.
Yes.
And so what my hopes are for creating this book is to help anyone stuck in life's pool, to give them enough courage, enough information, enough self-respect, enough vision to take the reins of their own life and create the magical life God created them for.
Beautiful. And I love this, a massive effect and impact that you're looking to have globally, that you're standing for that, you're owning that, and you're willing to share on that level your journey, your story, what you've discovered, what you've learned to really make a positive and powerful difference. And your book that was released earlier this year, it went out. It became not just a bestseller, not just a number one bestseller, but a number one international best-selling book. It reached 53 best-selling categories, 26 number ones, not just a couple, 26 number ones in the U.S. and in Canada. And so wonderful, powerful start to that vision. And I know that you are continuing that momentum, continuing to share it out in all different types of formats and avenues to build from that and share with even more and more people, hearts and lives around the world. And I'm curious, as you launched the book, as you released it, and the numbers started to come in, what was it like to create that momentum and then to hold that space as it's being shared out in the world like that? What was that like?
It was like something I had never really experienced before. I mean, I've done some pretty cool things, but that was completely out of my realm of understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And you said it masterfully, I really just need to lean into that and allow it to affect me however it needs to.
Yeah.
And as I did that, I was just like, okay, that's a little paralyzing. However, as that being said, like the feeling was just overwhelmed with joy, overwhelmed with pride, overwhelmed with gratitude, overwhelmed with, hey, these are just seeds that just got planted. Now we can really start going to town doing the real work.
Mm-hmm.
And super excited just to see what comes from that.
Beautiful. Well, and I love that you were willing to lean in and experience something on a level you hadn't experienced before, and to allow that. I think that's a really great tool we can add to our toolbox about basking in the momentum, leaning in, not overanalyzing, not shrinking back, but leaning into what's being created, into the momentum and what's being built, really standing in it and allowing it to process through us so we can own it, because it can take a little bit of processing, I find, to own. And then I love this vision that you're building from it. So you're really continuing. And I'd love to know any tips you can give to our listeners about, one, really owning moments like that, basking in them, and ways they can continue to lean in when they're bringing forward those things that matter most.
So I think the biggest takeaway I got from that experience was that you always have to stay 100% grounded in your authenticity, in your certainty, in your personal power about what you created is for a greater purpose, not for just your personal gain or pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
In that moment for creating that, your what you created is for a much greater purpose. And when you allow that to be on the front, I think it can really just magnify out and create what I always wanted to create, is that global impact. And just because we had some success first day, that's just the starter. That's just a little gas on the fire. Now we got to really add to it and stoke it up and really create that, or build from that momentum.
Beautiful. And being grounded in true alignment with who you are and the bigger vision, I think, helps hold that space of really being present and owning, but knowing where you're wanting it to go and continuing to work towards that. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And as you reflect back on the launch and where you are today, is there just a favorite moment that stands out in your mind that you'd like to share about?
On the launch date?
Either the launch or...
moments.
Oh, yeah, share. I love it.
I have a couple of favorite moments. The first favorite moment was when you called me at 11 o'clock in the morning on launch date, just to give me a little insight of where we were at, a little update. You called it in sheer, genuine calmness, like you're so masterful at. Hey, I just want to give you a little update. Hey, I want you to click down on Amazon. Hey, I want you to click over here and see what's going on. And the first picture I looked at was the Great Horse Seabiscuit, the Great Horse Secretariat. Secretariat was first, Seabiscuit was second, and our little book hit number 3 by 11 o'clock that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And Rebecca, I got to tell you, that sent absolute chills up and down my spine. And I remember telling you specifically, if I get nothing out of this, to stand in the shadows of the greatest horses God's ever put on the face of this planet and be recognized as being validated to be in that group of, or that kind of company, to share that faculty with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I needed to get out of this, because it, like, you just, I told you, you don't have no idea what that means to me. And I don't know if you remember what you said. I'll put you on the spot.
Uh-oh. I don't remember. Share.
You said, so hold on. Again, in all your calmness. Hold on, I want you to click over 2 more pages. And 2 more pages, I pulled the page up, and our book was number 1, Secretariat was number 2, and Seabiscuit was number 3. And you very calmly said, today you stand in the shadows of nobody. Mm-hmm. And I went to weeping like a little child because of what that meant to me. In my race career, I didn't get to fill all the things up that I wanted to in the irons. But today, everything changed.
Thank you for sharing. I'm reliving that moment with you. And yes, it was so powerful. And you shared some beautiful things about those horses. So when we come back, for people who are not familiar with those two horses that Jason just mentioned and the significance of being placed close to them and then in front, what that means, we're going to share. I know it'll touch your heart and spirit as we go to this first commercial break, or next commercial break, I should say, the second one. Really use this time to be present and see what is speaking to your heart and to your spirit, and we'll continue our conversation in just a moment.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Have you become a member yet? Sign up now to become a member of Voice America. It's always free and easy. Plus, you get to take advantage of some great member benefits. Get unlimited access to millions of hours of on-demand content across all of our channels. Keep track of your favorite episodes, shows, and hosts in your own customizable library. Find out what shows you might be interested in based on your favorites. Plus, you get insider access with our newsletter. Membership gives you more. Sign up at voiceamerica.com and click register at the top right.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. And I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that opportunity to pause and be present and really see what is speaking to your heart and spirit. Sometimes we're moving so fast and the things around us are so loud or shiny or distracting, we can stop hearing or not slow down enough to listen to that still small voice within us. And it is such a powerful voice, though it's quieter, in what it can share with us and what wisdom it can bring forward and the encouragement. So as we give you these 2-minute breaks throughout the show, really give yourself the opportunity to hear what is speaking to you and drink it in. Now, we ended the last segment with a little bit of a cliffhanger, and Jason was just sharing about that moment on his launch day where he was positioned not just next to, but in front of these two amazing horses. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about these two horses and some of their significance so that our listeners can understand what a big moment positioning the significance of what you experienced that day in being positioned not just next to, but in front of.
Yeah, absolutely. That Seabiscuit was recognized as the very single horse who took America, all of America, during the Great Depression, gave them something to cheer for, something to celebrate for. he was one of the greatest horses of his time. He beat horses that were half his or twice his size, and was just an absolute machine at it. And the biggest thing is he took America and gave them something to celebrate when the whole entire country was torn to pieces.
Yes.
And Secretariat in the early 70s, he was the horse that wins the Triple Crown, and he wins the last leg by 31 lengths, which is nearly the entire length of the straightaway. And there's never been a horse on the face of the planet that has come close to him to this day. To this day. Which is just, so for that little horse of mine on the cover of that book to be sharing faculty with the greatest horses God's ever created I'm still trying to wrap my mind around. That's been my favorite part of this whole journey.
Yes. And I'd love for you to describe your cover and who that little horse is that you're mentioning on the cover that got to be not only your book, but that horse got to be featured and in front of and next to the greats.
That little horse is named Bracebo. And I got the opportunity to ride him as a 2-year-old. I actually got the opportunity to break him as a 2-year-old. I didn't get to race ride him as a 2-year-old because I was committed elsewhere. And he ran 2 races as a 2-year-old and won. And then I was able to take the call on him as a 3-year-old. And I think I got beat once or twice on him. He and I, after we got connected up, we literally could not be beat. One of the very most powerful, fastest horses I've ever stepped foot on. Wow.
And that picture on the cover is actually you on him in a race.
That is it. Yeah. At the large age of 24, I believe, was me in a victory of probably, I think he won by 10 lengths that day. And in a quarter horse race, that's pretty big distance between first and second.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because you're only running 350, 400 yards. 10 lengths is quite a big distance to prevail over.
I love how that moment's been captured and the screenshots were taken of your placement on him and next to those 2 amazing horses. So I love it. And you had another really powerful moment during the campaign as well, that you ended up next to John C. Maxwell's book and you were number 1 and then John's book. And I'd love for you to share what that was like.
That was a little mind-bending because Maxwell's been a mentor of mine for probably the last 20 years. I own nearly every one of his books in my library. When I get into leadership issues, I always revert to his or counsel with his mentorship through one of those books to solve those debacles. And I've also seen him live a number of times, and he's just a brilliant human being with so much to offer the world. He's obviously been the best at what he does for the last 50 years, and it was a really powerful moment to see that take place because that seems like an untouchable thing.
And you even got some calls when other people saw that as well, I remember.
I did get a call. I'd love to share that with you if you'd like.
Sure, that would be great.
So that night I took a call from my son, which has a little bit been, like that's been in his life all his life, personal growth, and those books have been in my library forever. He's seen them all the time, but he's never really taken the time to apply or actually read them and apply them to his own life until recently. And over the last year, he has been really studying hard and been in proximity with great minds like that, like the Ed Miletts, the Andy Elliott's, people like that. And I get a call at 6:30 from him that night, and he says, "Dad, did you get my message?" I'm like, "No," and he gets a little uptight. I says, "Trey, just resend it. It's not a big deal." So he resends it, and I'm looking at that thing, and I'm a little bit stunned. And he tells me, he says, "Did you get it?" And I says, "Yeah." And he says, "Would you mind explaining to me how you pulled that off?" Because now he knows who John Maxwell is and how brilliant he is in the industry. How in the world did you pull that off? I says, "Trey, it was pretty simple. I set a goal. My intentions were pure and clear. I worked my face off, and I surrounded myself with an absolutely wonderful group of people between Bridget, between Hannah, my editor, between Rebecca, the publisher, and then we just actualized. There's no secret to it. That was the formula." He says, "I still just don't understand that." So I was just like, "All right, well, I'll let that sink in with you."
There you go. I love that. What a neat moment. And
that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and what you shared, that wisdom and here's how you do it, is really powerful too, and great thoughts for all of us as we're thinking about building the momentum and masking in it, and then maintaining. How do we stand in that? And some of those things that you got to stand in during your launch were very significant and powerful. And I love how you're still giving it time to integrate and to own, and you're still enjoying the wonder of it while you're owning it and celebrating it in those special moments. And then continuing to keep it going is also very, very important. And I know that you have some things that you are doing to continue that momentum, projects that you're working on. I'd love for you to share a little bit about those with our listeners.
Right before I share that with you, can I share one more super, super fascinating story with you about that night?
Of course. We'd love it.
Okay. So right before my son called me that night, the owner of the horse that's on the cover, Bracebo, called me like a half hour before. She says, "Jason, my kids have been telling me what's going on." And I told her, I shared with her all that stuff with Secretary and Seabiscuit. And I says, "Lita, I've hallucinated to the fact my entire life that I could create something with generational impact. And I've learned in 52 years that I've been kind of a fraud. And today, just because I never had the right vehicle, the right tool, the right influence to create that, and today that narrative 100% changed. Your little horse stands in front of two of the greatest horses God's ever created as number one. And today that narrative changed for you, your late husband, that little horse's memory, and myself, that will last an entire lifetime. That legacy will never, ever be able to be changed. It will last forever."
And what was her response?
She just started crying. That was it. We just shared in some deep moments for the next 10 minutes, and she was just absolutely blown away.
How wonderful. And that you got to share that with her, and together this legacy that will, you're right, will never can never, ever be changed. It is, and going forward will continue to have impact, is so powerful. So
cool.
Yeah, and we'll come back to a moment on the other question. I'd love for you to actually, from the perspective of what you've experienced on this journey so far, any wisdom or advice that you would give to our listeners about changing the narrative, about standing clearly for what they are called to bring forward and owning it?
I've got a lot of things I would love to share with each of you. Let's keep it tight, but just, man, whatever you do in your life, make sure you have a mission and you have a vision to create it and you have a purpose to carry it out. Like your God-given purpose, make sure that vision is supported, how you're going to actualize with it. And it literally brings that mission statement to life. Because whatever you do in your life experiences, a culmination of your life experiences is so incredibly powerful. 31 years ago, I never would have thought in my entire life that I would be taking a phone call from that lady that owned that horse, and that we would be having a conversation about Secretary and Seabiscuit. I never in my wildest dreams would have thought that. And so to create and chase after your dream and be in a prism to where you can absolutely actualize on that should never leave your vision. Mm-hmm. Never. Sometimes it just might not be the right time for you, but sometimes it might just be the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Irregardless, never, ever let that leave your vision. Always be in proximity of things that can create, people that can help you facilitate that, and people that can influence you to bring that best version of yourself out. Always have that on the vision of the front of your vision. Always.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jason. Powerful insights and wisdom to really help us actualize, to bring those things forward that we are called to bring forward, our mission. I so appreciate it. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break, and as we do so, listeners, really soak in the wisdom, the insight, and the energy I love the energy that Jason brings to what he shares. So allow yourself to really soak that in, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on LinkedIn. Connect with us today.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes. Jason and I were just sitting and smiling behind the scenes as we were enjoying this time and space that we get to have with all of you, and just reflecting back on what we've had the opportunity to create by coming together and sharing this space with you. So I want to thank each of you for leaning in and being part of our conversation today. I hope you've gotten some great tips and insights and perspectives to support you in really owning and creating and bringing forward those things that matter most to you. And then continuing, creating that legacy, continuing the momentum. And one of the things I love that Jason is doing is he's continuing the momentum. So he's walking that talk. And I'd love for you to share a little bit of things you're working on and what people can look forward to watching and enjoying that you're bringing forward.
So we've got a lot of exciting things going on in the training world of the horses and the coaching with the people on the horses. We've got several like non-pro kids that I coach that are heading to some major national events this year that are positioning themselves and setting themselves up to be recognized across the biggest industry in the country. And I'm excited to be the cause in that matter of helping each of those kids actualize their dreams. And so that's one of the major things we got going on. We've got a couple horses paid into the LaSalle 2 million at the end of the year. One of them just ran on Saturday at LaSalle Metis, and her very first out, she was third by about a half an inch. And then she was about a half a length in front of him past the finish line, just barely. So I'm excited to see what she comes to the table with. And then as far as projects go, I have put together a platform to create an endless amount of speaking engagements.
Nice.
Which supports my mission, vision, purpose in order to get that mission statement accomplished of creating an impact across the globe. My vision is to leverage stages, networks, and systems to effectively get that message out. And so we've put together something pretty profound to be able to actualize on that as well.
Nice. And I know that you also have the audiobook in the works. So that'll be coming out later this year as well. So we're excited about that too. So you're up to so many things. It's wonderful. And congratulations on all the successes with those that you've been working with on their horses and their horses. It's just wonderful. Yeah, it's great. So I'd love for people to be able to connect with you, to go deeper, know where they can get your fabulous book and add that to their library and let it pour into them, your wisdom, insight, and story. And this book I've had the opportunity to read, and once you start, it's captivating. You don't want to put it down. You keep flipping the pages as you get pulled into Jason's story and the wisdom and insights and tips that he shares along the way, I know will deeply impact you. So I really encourage looking into it, adding it to your library. Jason, can you let people know where to get their copy and how can they connect with you further on all of the different things you do?
You bet. I think the best way to acquire that book is through my website, and it is at jasonpalmermastery.com.
Okay.
You can also reach out on social media, Facebook and Instagram. You also can buy that on Amazon, but the best way to do it would be just to direct you to that website.
Perfect. And can you give us...
You can just click and it pulls you right to it.
Perfect. Can you give us the site one more time just so everybody's got it?
It's jasonpalmermastery.com.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. And I'm excited. Congratulations on all that you're doing, all that you're bringing forward. And again, on the success of your book as it just has so powerfully out the gates, so powerfully reached many, many places, many, many hearts and lives, and it's just continuing to ripple out into the world. I celebrate that. Congratulations. And listeners, I want to encourage you to take a few moments at the end of the show. Resist the urge to just run off immediately. Take a few moments for you. Really pause, drink in those things that serve and support you. Maybe take a moment and feel in, do you know your mission, your personal mission that aligns with you? And see what the answer is. And yes, great. Check in, see are you in alignment and taking steps, actualizing, moving forward in that. If you're not sure, that's a great place to start, is to be curious and figure out what your mission and purpose is. Because you are a gift. You're uniquely made and designed for such a time as this. And one of the biggest gifts you can give the world is more of you on purpose, in alignment with how you are made. The gifts and perspectives you uniquely can bring to the world. I want to encourage you to find a way to share a little bit more of that part of you, of who you truly are with the world. That's how we can make a difference, heart by heart, life by life, being in alignment with who we truly are, how we are choosing to show up to be as we lean into how we are made. So as you go forward, as you step back into the day, into the week, choose to do so on purpose and with purpose. Choose to be in alignment with who you truly are and be willing to be seen. Be willing to bloom where you are planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.